And the American withdrawal is having a big impact on allies around the world.
Joining us now with more insight on the withdrawal, Washington Post correspondent Ishant Tharoor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be with you.
Ishant, what is the biggest fallout from this withdrawal, and what will be the biggest fallout?
Well, there's a lot of fallout in different directions. I think the biggest impact, of course, is on the Afghan people itself. You've seen right now in all the chaotic scenes in Kabul, you've seen real grief and sorrow of those trying to flee and not able to. We're also witnessing at the same time an escalating humanitarian crisis across the country. That is a result of the Taliban takeover, in part because the U.S. and other international governments and agencies have frozen Afghan foreign reserves. And so there's a spiraling economic crisis there. The UN warns that half of the country may be going hungry pretty soon. So it's a pretty dire situation. And as your report pointed to earlier, there's a whole partisan blame game happening now in Washington, but it's important to look at what's happening on the ground in Afghanistan as well.
I want to talk more about the domestic side of things here, but in your column to the Post yesterday, the headline says, as U.S. leaves Afghanistan, Europe sours on Biden. What are some of the examples that you say show that?
Well, indeed, the whole way this withdrawal has played out in Afghanistan has been dispiriting for the U.S.'s European allies, who some of whose governments weren't really in favor of the withdrawal, at least the way it was played out, and also felt that the U.S. did not adequately coordinate and consult with them about carrying out this withdrawal. And so you've seen a lot of recrimination from British politicians, even from German politicians, and a kind of reckoning in Europe about the fact that, look, we need to be able to manage security on our own. We need to develop the capacity so that, when these things happen, and especially because they fear an influx of refugees more than America does to a certain extent, we have the means to take care of it ourselves or to figure out security ourselves and not be so yoked to an American strategy.
Many politicians, U.S. politicians, on their bully pulpit today saying that Afghan refugees could signal danger to the U.S. What kind of repercussions could that be?
It's really unfortunate. When the United States left Vietnam in 1975, around the fall of Saigon, more than 100,000 Vietnamese came. 1 million more came in the subsequent years. And given the length of the U.S. war effort in Afghanistan, given the extent to which the U.S. has shaped the reality on the ground in Afghanistan and really impacted that country for good and bad, there is a certain obligation that the United States has, but I think we will definitely see, at least on some corners of the Republican Party, a pretty strong anti-refugee discourse to follow.
I think it was Mitch McConnell who said that the way that this played out was worse than the fall of Saigon. And so in D.C., Biden has had a lot of Republican opponents who have been making hay of this. How do you see this marking the Biden presidency this early on?
It's his biggest kind of political battle that he's had to fight so far. I think the bet that the Biden administration is taking is that beyond the kind of atmospherics and opportunism, to be frank, of some of the Republican criticisms, the bulk of the American people are with the idea of drawing down this war, of not being bogged down in a conflict endlessly for another decade, and by and large favor a kind of rethinking of the U.S. Strategic, the way U.S. deploys its strategic assets in the Middle East and South Asia and elsewhere. And I think they're making a bet that at the end of the day, Americans are in favor of withdrawal and will be in favor of a situation where the U.S. is putting fewer troops in harm's way.
All right, Washington Post correspondent Ishant Tharoor, thank you for your thoughts tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.